Often, once you've got something 3D printed, you need a way to either attach it to something else or attach something else to it. There's a number of solutions to that problem. Through holes, captive nuts, and threaded inserts are common. Occasionally you see a hole printed with extra reinforcement and then actually tapped like you would for metal. You can print the threads right into your 3D part. That one can work nicely, but the problem is there's no ideal orientation to print the threads in. With a little extra clearance and some patience, it's often possible to get something good enough that works quite well after you run it in a couple of times. It's great for M10 and up, but for popular sizes like M4, not so much. A relatively new technique is to print the hole with ribs around the circumference. The hole itself is made to the diameter of the thread, and the ribs are sized so that the opening is about the same as the diameter of a drill hole. A little easing at the top of the ribs combined with the typical taper at the end of the machine bolt allows you to pass the bolt in and turn it so that it taps its own threads. This often works out sufficiently strong and reliable. Of course, if you have a number of holes, modeling the ribs on each hole would get tedious really fast. There's actually a module for the part design workbench that modifies the standard holes available there to offer a ribbed version, but I prefer to use the part workbench. So I gave that problem a little thought and concluded that the best result would be from modeling a tool that I could then boolean cut from the object to make the hole. But that would also get tedious fast. But with a few formulas entered, I could make that tool fully parametric. Still, I didn't really want to have to cut and paste the tool into my model every time. Naturally, that led to creating a macro that generates the tool that I could then set to the specific size using the data pane. That certainly worked, but using it felt a little bit like spit and baling wire. So I decided as long as I had gone that far with it, maybe I should just make it a feature object and stick it in the grab bag. That actually proved to be easier than I thought. My next bright idea was to do a series of videos outlining those steps in the hopes that maybe others would follow the same path and we'd get all kinds of nice new tools for the part workbench. First, I'll show it in action. If you want to follow along, either install or update your installation of the grab bag. I put the URL in the description as well as a pointer to a video explaining how. Start as usual in the part workbench. Create a sketch on the XY plane. Create a centered rectangle on the origin. The exact dimensions don't matter. Close the sketch and extrude it to 10 millimeters. Now to create a hole. Select the RibThread tool. It's created it, but it's inside the slab. The tool defaults to a 10 millimeter high hole with a 1 millimeter depth bore, 5 millimeters in diameter, and a drill diameter of 4.5 millimeters. The drill diameter is essentially the diameter of a hole that you drill before tapping a thread in metal, though the size may vary. Select the rib thread and go to Part Attachment. Select the top face of the slab and the attachment mode to Inertial CS. You can see the cylinder that creates the hole and the cutouts that leave the ribs behind. Complete with the small bevel at the top to ease the threading of the bolt. Of course, we need it to be inside the slab in order to cut the hole. So select the rib thread and in the data pane set Map Reverse to True to flip it around. The problem is it's now upside down. We want the bolt to screw in from the top, but the bore and the easing on the ribs faces the bottom. I'll go ahead and do the cut to make that clear. Select the rib thread and in the data pane under Dimensions, set Invert to True. That flips it back around the way we need it. I built that into the feature since it will be a very common occurrence. The data pane also allows us to set the number of ribs. I'll go with 7. You can set the diameter and the drill diameter as well. Of course, to be valid, the drill diameter must be smaller than the hole diameter. As you see, reducing the drill diameter increases the size of the ribs. To help with development, I also added a property for debugging. If true, instead of rendering the cutting tool, it gives the shape of the ribs combined with the cone that cuts the easing onto the ribs. Sometimes when the geometry just doesn't look right, it's easier to visualize it if you can see what's being cut away. In my next video, I'll go through the process of manually constructing the cutting tool, much like I did when I started work on this feature. In the meantime, enjoy the new tool. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. If there's anything you'd like to see covered here, please let me know in the comments below.